don't have to be in ministry in order to make an impact.
God has put you in your position, in your journey where you are right now. There's a reason, there's a purpose for it.
You can still bring the gospel to your coworkers, to your clients.
God doesn't need everyone to be pastors. If everyone was a pastor, there'd be problems. In our last video, we kind of mentioned about, hey, like you don't have to be in ministry to advance his kingdom. You don't have to be necessarily a part of a ministry to be able to do his work. And the first video is called How to Put God First in Your Business. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm David.
I'm Leanna.
We're excited to be sharing our heart, to be able to share our passion, and to be able to share our love for entrepreneurship, business, faith, and lifestyle.
The last video, we just had so much to say on putting God first in your business that we just realized let's just make a part 2 because he was just getting so passionate.
I know, I was getting fired up.
And getting fired up about it. I love that about my husband, and we're just gonna get into the part 2 of, inviting God into your business. You don't have to be in ministry in order to make an impact, and not to say like ministry is not important, that you shouldn't be in ministry, and don't come at me about that. You can be a business person. You can work somewhere in nursing, in fast food company, or
anywhere.
Anywhere. You can still bring God into it. You can still bring the gospel to your coworkers, to your client, or the people that you're serving. That's the important part of this whole series that we're doing here, is that people forget that.
Yeah.
As Christians, we forget that. We end up missing the point because we are so caught up into like, oh, I'm not really making an impact, that we forget to impact the people that God has placed in our life right now.
Dang.
And that includes into your work, into your business, but also into your personal life. Wherever you go, you have the reach to make that impact in that one person's life that maybe a pastor doesn't have.
So we're going to read a Bible verse today. We're going to be in Luke chapter 16, verse 10. It says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will be dishonest with much." I feel like whenever I read that, I think of business. You're working in a company, you want to be given more responsibility, you want to be given more pay, you want to be given all this other stuff. It's going to take time. Things don't just happen with the snap of the fingers. We can't just like all of a sudden wake up and we're a CEO. I mean, maybe there might be somebody out there, but things happen for a reason, and things are a lot slower, really honestly, than they are in the way that the world portrays it. Like if you've ever had to do a project, if you've YouTubed how to, paint a table or how to build something, it's like they make it look so easy. Under 10 minutes you can do it, and it takes like hours, right? In reality,
it's because they put in all the time lapses in there.
God has put you in your position, in your journey where you are right now. There's a reason, there's a purpose for it, but the reason is where you are is the most important. In this life, where you are right now is the most important. God doesn't need everyone to be pastors. If everyone was a pastor, there'd be problems. God doesn't call us to that. He calls us to follow him. He calls us to share the gospel in where we are. So hey, if you're called to be a pastor, that's great. Go for it. We're all here for you. But God doesn't need everyone to be.
Yeah.
That's not the only way to reach people. Honestly, it's where you are. Most of us are working. Most of us are in the work world, and that's where you have been placed, and that's where you can make the most impact.
One of the things that we watched a video a while back, that was how we were inspired by this topic, and the video is sadly not even online anymore. He said, you know how in business we have the ROI, the return on investment. If you put this much into something, what's your return on your investment?
Well, let's kind of break this down real simply. Let's just say that I, the business investor or the business owner, gives you $10 to start a company, right? Let's just say you take $10, you'd spend it 10 ways. Hopefully out of one of those 10, you get the dollar back or you get more. And that's return on investment. What's the point that you pretty much break even and then you make more? if each of those dollars, let's say you split the $10 into 10 different areas, each one is making $2 that you put in $1, hey, you're at $20. That's a return on investment.
So the reason why I brought that up is because this, person has said, as Christian, and if we're in business or at work, what's our E.R.O.I? The eternal return on investment. How are you investing into people that is going to return back to you eternally? And he was explaining how, it doesn't matter about the rewards or the wealth on earth. And yeah, it's okay to have wealth. You can be successful in this world, but it's to remember that's not, our ultimate reason on this earth, in this world. Our purpose as Christians is we die one day, we get to go to heaven, and that is where we are rewarded for what we have done for God. We are saved by grace through faith, but he also says that there's a second kind of reward. God looks at what we do end up doing, in our life for him, and we also get more reward from that. And so if we're investing into people, if we, share the gospel with somebody at work or all of that, you will get the E.R.O.I eventually in heaven.
That's awesome.
That's something to look forward to and to rejoice in.
That's good. That's good.
And so I feel like, we as business owners or anybody that's watching or anybody that wants to start a business one day, it can be so easy for us to forget. We can be so, caught up in our own little world and our own bubble that, oh my gosh, we're not meant to live in this world forever. We're meant to move on to the next world, which is heaven, and we get to live there eternally, rejoicing and praising God forever and ever. And it says so in Revelation, we get to go to heaven, we join in with the angels, and we rejoice. That's the whole point of, living for Christ. But in all of this, God does not want us to just sit here on earth until we die. Like, he calls for us to live and to live to the full potential and purpose that he has given to us.
So thanks Leanna for sharing all that. That was awesome. And God doesn't want us to build a dynasty. He wants us to leave a legacy. Wow. How awesome is that? It gets me so excited to think about that. Like, we're going to leave a legacy on this earth. How are you going to leave it? Do you want to be that person that shines a light in this dark world, or do you want to add to the darkness? We like to just take 1 minute and just say thank you guys for listening and watching. We really do appreciate it, and we love to be able to interact with you guys. This is our first time, doing this whole YouTube thing, and we've come from the podcast world, so it's so much different. It's so much more fun to interact with you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do so now. We very much appreciate it, and we take each subscriber seriously. Each subscriber counts. Each subscriber matters. Also, we have a fun question to ask you guys, just to get to know you guys a little bit more, kind of related to this topic that we're talking about.
The question is, how far do you commute to your work? So I feel like this is something that a lot of people like to say, like, oh, I drive 10 minutes or 1 hour, or even how far do you drive going to work and back?
We don't really have a commute. I mean, well, sort of. I have a landscape.
We walk out of our bedroom into the office.
Yeah, our commute's from our bedroom to the office. But with our other businesses, with Leanna's photography, she has to drive probably 15 to 20 minutes on average. And I drive probably 30 minutes or to an hour sometimes for my landscape company, because I've got clients all over the city. Something else to think about that's related to all of this is how are you giving your time, like how are you giving of your finances, because Leanna talked about E.R.O.I. Hey, what's your E.R.O.I? Where's your time going? Where's your money going? Where's your mental state going? And if it's all to the world, hey, your E.R.O.I. is probably pretty low. If it's like kingdom based, hey, that's great. If you're saying to yourself, oh, I have a really low E.R.O.I, like, how can I improve it? Well, you can go back to the very first video that we did and start watching. Also, there's a lot of other great content that you guys can watch, but keep watching here, because we have some other great things to say about how to get more of that. I think one of the best ways to do it is by being your true self, knowing that God loves you and God has a plan and God has a mission for your life, and to be able to attach your life with God's mission and combining them together to create, the ultimate simple mission. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be strung out and overthought about. It can be very simple. You can make it simple by doing it where you are in your everyday life. If you go to the grocery store, if you're checking out, you could share some of the kingdom, some of the word to like the cashier, or you could help someone else out that's in need, or there's tons of ways to start. God's purpose and mission is a ministry. It is your ministry, your personal ministry.
I feel like this is something that our pastor talks about a lot. He says, he always says, you're never too old. If you're still breathing, you still have purpose. When he says that, I kind of laugh, but it's true because he's kind of saying, what you do, impacts people. So live every day to the fullest. Doesn't matter how old you are. If this person was in, 75 or 80 and they're retired and living at home, but they can kind of be challenged by that and say, when I go to the grocery store, I'll make sure to talk to the cashier and ask them how they're doing. And, if they're having a bad day, maybe I can, say a quick prayer for them, or pray for them whenever I head out, or, things like that. And it can be in any way that you can think of. In business, combining, ministry with business is difficult to picture, but when you have God's help and you can pray and ask for direction, he will show you the way. There's always a way for you to really glorify Him in everything that you do, including your business,
Yeah. One thing that we do daily is to get into the Word, get into God's Word every day, read the Bible every day, pray every day, and it'll help you to identify those open doors in your workplace. If somebody's struggling with something, hey, you can be there for them, you can pray for them. That's pretty much how we do it here. We read our Bible every day, we study His Word, and its life has been so much more open, more clear, more focused. It's improved our business, it's improved our marriage, it's improved our personal life, it's improved our family, our friends. I mean, every walk of life has been so much more better, and so much, I wouldn't call it easy, but it's been so much more fulfilling because we know that everything we do matters, and everything that we do, we're leaving a legacy. And we want you guys to leave a legacy too.
The most important commandment, Jesus said that. He said, love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your mind, with all of your soul and your strength. And the second is like this, to love others as yourself. And I feel like if you are confused and you are a business owner, or you want to start a business like we said before, or you just work in the workforce, start with that. Love God and love others. And start there, and He'll start to reveal more and more of that to you each and every day.
Well, thank you guys for watching. We really have fun. We really love it.
Well, remember, don't live life alone.
Yeah. We'll see you guys.
Bye.